Good morning, everybody.
Hello there.
It seems we're not going to move away from Brené Brown within the near future. It feels like it, because we've touched on issues. We've started with a sense of self-worth, and we're talking about her book, Daring Greatly. And then we talked about the matter of self-worth, see yourself worthy to expect more. And then last week we spoke about the act of daring, the daring itself. But we are constantly talking about this, and we're thinking about this, and we have feedback and conversations with other people as well. And then new things open up. And actually, I think what we are discussing today in touching on vulnerability is at the heart of what Brené Brown is talking about and her research. Because the title of the book is Daring Greatly, How to Be Vulnerable Open Things Up for You. So the whole issue of vulnerability is so important, and we think we haven't touched on vulnerability in previous talks as well. So we thought it good to have a conversation this morning about that.
Yes, because I think it lies again at the basis of our lives. I think, as we always talk about in the Enneagram, we are wounded. We have these vulnerabilities as we grow up. We are trying constantly. Our egos are trying to keep us safe, giving us messages, actually telling us that we're vulnerable. But what Brené says is that vulnerability is not a weakness. She talks about the power of vulnerability. So she turns things on their head in terms of when you truly embrace your vulnerability, when you're aware of those places where you feel insecure, you feel like it's too risky, you're scared. Those places are where you can really touch onto your authentic feelings, and where from that place you can dare. You can't dare from a place where you perceive yourself as absolutely powerful, invulnerable, safe. So, and that wouldn't be daring. We cannot dare if we don't have courage to push against our vulnerabilities. To go even with the vulnerability into the daring.
What it boils down to is we have a choice between two routes. We can decide to play it safe, to live a life of predictability,
to some extent,
because it's all perceived.
Yeah.
So we're not saying, we're not making a statement as if that is possible. We say we live a life of we can choose a life of perceived security, predictability, being stable. We can choose that, but we have to know that what goes with such a life, it is restricted.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. But
yeah,
the flip side.
And the other choice is to live a life of vulnerability and daring and open outcomes.
Yeah.
And even if you listen to this and you become scared, welcome to the club. But the fact is, Brené Brown did research on this, and she said the people who reach the things that they always wanted are those who became vulnerable.
Yeah. Who just acknowledge their vulnerabilities. I think, and I'm thinking about the other side, having the very rigid life of predictability and control. If you have a life like that, so you're keeping your vulnerabilities to yourself, you're hiding it even from yourself, So you are not, you cannot be open and authentic with anybody, not even people close to you. You cannot show your insecurities because you feel that it's weak or whatever reason. You're scared that it will be manipulated, and then even your relationships will suffer. So even there, everything will be restricted and not authentic, open. You won't be having the full range of human emotions, like Brené says, if you are not prepared to be vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable. And I think this also comes from not just being irresponsible in daring. This is something at the base of looking at my life and what my next step will be. So you are looking at your life, and there's a step that you feel you need to take from a very deep place. You can feel this, but this makes you scared. It's not the usual thing, or it will take a lot of effort or whatever, or
on a very practical level, to give an example, you're in a relationship that is really disruptive, destructive, or you're in a work situation that is absolutely not fulfilling. And often the mere discomfort.
We were talking about that, having that void of there must be something more. My life is not, as it is, not even worth living.
Yes. And often that is the incentive to take the next step, which can be very, very vulnerable, or making yourself very vulnerable, and can be very, very scary. Often what makes us take that step, we're not talking here about adrenaline junkies saying, well, I'm now going to dare greatly, I'm going to ski from Mount Everest, the top of Mount Everest, or whatever. It's not on that level, but it's on this soul level where there's a deeper voice telling you it can't carry on like this, there must be more. And then to take that step.
Yeah.
So it comes from a deep sense of purpose and of self-worth. I'm worth more than this situation.
Yeah. I want to go as far as to say that any such a step, any such a daring will make you scared.
Yes.
It's almost one of the ways to know. There's somebody that said, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
So you can even say, if the change or the step that I need to take doesn't scare me, then it's maybe too safe, or it's not coming from that deep place. So that vulnerability, I think, to a large extent, comes from our eco mechanisms.
Yes.
So because we're vulnerable from a childhood fear, from things that we feel we won't be able to handle, or so then all of us have different fears. We're not good enough, there's something wrong with us, all of those things.
And we see that in the Enneagram.
We see that. I don't have enough information, all of that. And that might keep us away from risking. But,
but by implication, what we're also saying is everything that we truly, truly want lies on the other side of fear.
Yeah. And of acknowledging that fear. And I think for me personally, and it sounds like impossible to dare. For me, it helps to dare in small ways. And to see that I can actually manage the step that I've taken. So I'll move in the direction, but I won't bite the bullet completely. I'll do something that stretches me, and by doing that and accomplishing that, it gives me the motivation and the self-assurance to dare more. So I would always recommend that if you're not used to daring, to doing new things, is to just start with something small, something that won't even necessarily be noticed by anybody. And just to get that sense of, I can do this.
It doesn't mean that when we dare in this way, that the outcome is surefire.
No, not in any case. Maybe the outcome that we have planned in our head. I think that's the thing with this type of daring, is that it's open-ended.
Yeah.
It's taking you on a journey, I would like to call it an adventure, because that's what it is.
It is.
If you can trust it, if you can truly say, put your vulnerability on the table. I'm as scared as anything. My ego is shouting at the top of a overprotective nanny voice. But I know deep inside of me that this is the thing that I have to do. Then to open up to all those infinite possibilities.
Yes.
Is one of the things. That's also maybe something to talk about. But no, the outcome is not necessarily the one that we have in mind.
Yeah. And when you take that step and it is not working out, does that mean you must go to the safe place again?
No, I think it's like you were saying in the Afrikaans one, there will be false starts, or even, I think everything is harvest. If you did that daring from a place deep within you, then there can be no mistakes.
Yes.
All of this will lead you into the next step. Maybe it's a step in another direction. I wouldn't want to like to call it a step back.
No. But also not to get so frightened that you say, you see, that's why I don't dare.
Yeah.
I rather play it safe. That's much, much better. Don't go back to the safe spot just because things didn't turn out exactly as you envisaged it.
Yeah, because we can't actually say.
It means there must be adjustments, but don't lose sight, or don't close your inner ears for the inner voice.
I think that's very important. I suppose if we get so scared that we stop listening to the deeper voice.
Yeah.
And we might take the next step, which would necessarily be maybe a step back, then we could be talking of a mistake.
Yeah.
So I would say it would be a mistake to stop listening to the deeper voice.
Yes, that would be a mistake.
Because that's if you put yourself on that journey, that you truly feel is the right thing, it opens up, and it opens up to growth.
Such a lot of things to touch on, but thank you for all the possibilities opening up through our conversation with each other and with a conversation with you. And next week we'll be back, maybe again with something about Brené Brown or this issue. But keep well in the meantime.
Keep well, everyone. Goodbye.